Hi, everyone, and welcome back to DSS Break. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're here live every other week to talk about data science experiences and best practices with leading data professionals in a 15-minute break. I'm Anna, founder at Data Science Salon, and I'm streaming here live from our headquarters located here in the heart of Miami, right next to the Design District. And on today's break, I'm really excited to sit down with Dee Wu, who is the vice president of data science at Jellyfish. And Dee has a lot of great experience and very deep experience in data science and a lot of knowledge of marketing analytics and AI solutions, which is really, really interesting. And I'm really, really excited to talk about how AI could be leveraged for creative use cases, as I'm sure a lot of you are, because a lot of you guys are in the media and advertising space that are tuning in today. So thank you so much for joining us for this DSS break, Dee.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. I know that you've worked in this space for over 10 years across agency and client, both sides. So for some of the world's most recognizable brands, including Unilever, Geico, L'Oreal, and before joining Jellyfish, I know that you worked at NASA. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, of course. So basically, I started my professional career in meteorology. So after graduation, I was so lucky to have this opportunity to work at NASA. I was fortunate to work with some of the most brilliant minds in this field. So I worked at basically NASA Goddard Space Center at Maryland for about 6 years. And that point, I need a new challenge. And Jellyfish kind of basically gave me this opportunity to hire me as the first data scientist and to build out the data science function at Jellyfish. So at there, I was able to work with some of the largest brands in the world, like the ones that you mentioned earlier. I think the most interesting thing is that it exposed to me to a wide set of marketing challenges. So it's really great to be able to talk to the client and use my creativity to solve their challenges. And on top of that, giving me the opportunity to build a world-class global data science team.
Awesome. No, that's a cool story, and being the first data scientist, that's really cool too. So I'm really excited to learn more. And I know that you are now focusing on using AI for marketing, particularly for the creative use cases. What are some use cases that you are really excited about right now? You could share.
Yeah, so basically, AI has been making some like fundamental changes in the industry, as we all have seen. And it's not new, right? So it's been under the way for the past several years. We have already see AI being consistently used for like ad buying, like a bidding optimization, like creating like a more personalized user and shopping experience, right? So in my point of view, like what's most exciting part and the most disruptive part of it has been brought by Gen AI. So basically, I wanted to talk about there's like a two area. The first one is around the creative concept development. So we already see some like examples, right? Like how easy it is just to create like brand new creative and a creative concept with some of the AI tools such as like Midjourney, Dolly, and Stable Diffusion. And these tools kind of like enables us and the creative team to build out this somewhat like original content and help to bounce off the idea and brainstorm ideas. Is really kind of like help to augment the creative process. The other part that I personally am more excited about is around this like more from like a data science, like creative measurement and a prediction perspective. So at Jellyfish, in the past we built tools in this area. So we have a proprietary tool called Optics. So basically, what it does is using machine learning and AI to identify, different elements in the creative assets, such as like the color of the background, the facial expression of the models, and some like objects within the creative assets, right? So we then be able to like evaluate, what are the creative elements in the asset that works and doesn't. And we have another tool called the video brand tracker. So what it does is that it could use the AI to extract the audio, the logo positions, and the optical character recognition, like frame by frame of the video, like a true view, right? And use that to really quantify the brand presence throughout the video. And on top of that, we'll be able to match that information with the performance metrics, such as retention curve. So like with Gen AI, that I can see that we can do a lot more than what we have already achieved. So in the past, we're using like a computer vision and AI tools to do some labeling for like objects in the videos or like creative assets. But now we can potentially using AI to summarize, even like went above, like beyond, to summarize the theme and the concept of a creative. And that would be able to help the creative team not just to understand what element works, but also understand better in terms of what creative strategy works.
Right. No, that's really, really cool, because that's, that's going to change. Yeah, that definitely changes the direction for people and gives them great feedback and makes things much easier. And yeah, that's
exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. And what are some challenges that you're seeing when you're implementing AI for content creation?
Yeah, I mean, like not so much about the challenge, right? Because if you foresee any challenge, I'm sure it's going to be solved really quickly, right? Like before, we're talking about, okay, it's easy to generate very brand new concept, just type a few words like in the prompt. But now it's like editing is so much easier to use with Gen AI, right? So it's like really developing in a very fast pace. So what is ultimate more challenge, I think, in the near future is still, I think it's an element of humanity, right? So as humans, we're basically wired for story, and we're storytelling animals, right? So I think what could be potentially a challenge thing is that for AI to create truly like original content that can evoke the human emotional response, right? And help to kind of connect with audience and resonate with a broader kind of audience. I think that's the part that is still as a next step for AI to take on. But at the same time, it's not bad thing, right? AI is incredible in terms of efficiency and automating the task. At the same time, that means we still need human in the loop, especially when it comes to like telling a compelling story, making such as creating ads and a creative concept in terms of showing the vulnerability, the humanity in that story, and also like making decisions, right? Because human knows what works best for the brands.
Yeah, exactly. Can you put that kind of data in, somewhere, right? Like that is hard because that's part of the experience that people have, right? That definitely leads kind of into the next question. What is your experience with Chat GPT, and what role do you see large language models playing in the future of content creation? I know that you just talked about emotion, and I know that Chat GPT definitely does not there yet with that for sure, but I guess what is kind of your other thoughts you have about it now, that it's out there in the wild?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have played ChatGPT for a while, and we're talking about future, right? I really think the future is already here. And of course, like as a data scientist, I see like a large language model has like a huge potential from the coding, prototyping, and analyzing some of the insights. And I think the biggest part is that what we see is that we're using AI for years in different applications, but largely those applications are automation, right? Make our work more efficient. But we up to today we still consider creativity is central to human. We are known to be the critical thinking and the centerpiece of any, concept and creative campaigns. And I think what's kind of disruptive about the Gen AI is that we can now have a glimpse of the future, is that AI can take a part and potentially even a significant part in a creative or even strategic thinking process, because we are able to just type in some prompt, right? Some maybe like a well-constructed and a well-thought of prompts to generate really creative and unique images. And I think that really got me, thinking, right? So it's really can go either ways in the future in terms of like content creation. Obviously in a very dystopian future, like AI could dominate. They could make content more accessible and cheaper. But on the other hand, that could potentially devaluate the creativity, the creative arts, and even the artists, right? We already have some struggling artists, but in the future, it's hard to predict, what that would look like. But I wanted to look at things from like a more bright side. It's more from like AI human collaboration and use the AI to augment the human creativity.
Right.
Yes.
That's cool. That's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah. So basically, if we're looking at this, like a lot of projects that we're doing at Jellyfish, right? We need a lot of like highly trained and a lot of tech savvy professionals to work on these kind of like creative projects that could take like weeks or even months to build. But with Gen AI, it's really helped to reduce the barrier of entry, right? So we can like come up with more quickly with a lot of ideas to test on. So we also have like a really good opportunity here at Jellyfish because we have like actually a hackathon that is happening in just a few weeks. We have this hackathon partners with Google, and the theme would be centered around the AI for creative. So we put together a cross-functional team with a mix of talent from like data, tech, and creative, and gave them like less than 48 hours to create a proof of concept. So this really kind of provides us a unique opportunity to kind of test out how AI can help to bring us together to better collaborate. We can brainstorm, better prototype, and even experiment on new ideas. So really super excited for it.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Yeah, please, yeah, feel free. Is the hackathon for everybody or is it just for like your internal folks?
Yeah, so it's just the Jellyfish and Google.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that sounds like there's gonna be some really awesome stuff that comes out of that. Thanks so much for sharing. Yeah, I think all of those are really great points that you made. I think efficiency is really what we're gonna see, right? Just maybe even giving people a lot more options than before, right? To choose from faster, which is great for everybody. And I guess now maybe we talked a little bit about some of the limitations, but are there any other limitations of using AI for creative use cases other than like the emotional piece that you mentioned previously?
Right. I think there's another like perspective to it. It's not just disruptive to the to the the workforce, the corporate world, but I think it could be quite disruptive to the overall creative ecosystem, right? So today, what we're seeing is that we already has so much content in social media and everywhere, right? That competing for just limited attention span. So with AI, that would be able to bring so much like abundance in terms of the creative content, and that could get us like just surrounded with a lot of noise, right? So it's really a question for us to think about as a human, as the end consumer. How do we fight through the noise, and how can we still find the most authentic and the truly unique creative piece of creative or content, right? And on top of that, we have to distinguish the errors, sometimes inaccuracy, from seemingly legitimate answers from AI. So I think we're still going to go through a kind of trust building phase in this.
No, 100%. No, I agree with you. And thank you so much for joining us today, Dee, and sharing your experience. It was such a pleasure to have you. And you could learn more about state of the art and AI applications in media and advertising in Dee's talk, actually, which is coming up. Wow, I was just saying in a couple of weeks in New York on June 8th. And we're going to be actually gathering in person with the DSS New York community and also live streaming. So we are almost sold out. If you miss out on the tickets, I think we only have like 20 tickets left right now. You can always tune in virtually. We're going to be live streaming and we're going to be sharing a link with you guys in the comments section. And Dee, thanks again. It was such a pleasure chatting with you. And I really am looking forward to your talk too.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward as well.
Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful week. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.